you said something to the effect of everyone always wants to stand out, but the flip side of that with so many developers is, give us three names you haven't used yet. We'll roll with
Mhm.
it. That's what it's going to be. Sort of a thoughtless exercise for an ownership group that's putting in tens to hundreds of millions of dollars for a property, which is
Mhm.
obviously mind blowing. But you made a point that I think is really important because we run into this too. And you said, how can we design something if we don't have an understanding of the identity of the building? Right. And
Mhm.
so it's a, some would say it's a chicken or the egg thing. And I think you and I agree that no, it's not. There needs to be some strategy in a story and at least an initial brand and brand identity to then key off of that for all of these other check boxes that need to be executed and done well. You can't necessarily come into a blank slate and be told, all right, we hired you for this. Go do your thing, but you have nothing to reference. I imagine that's a really difficult place for you all to be in.
Yeah, and so like you said, the chicken or the egg, yes, we've done both sides, right? And I would say to your point, like having the identity or at least an idea of it, right? Like we're creative enough too, and we're happy to like we also like to think outdoor can influence indoor and even influence architecture. Like um,
Yeah.
there's a there's a few projects that I know. I'm going to forget the name, so I won't even say it. But their whole idea was create a nucleus and then have all the buildings kind of wrap around that of this identity. But it helps so much when you have a name like just there's some narrative there, right? Like someone like you has come in and they're already informed to go, okay, this is our demographic. This is the identity. We might even have the name at that point. Um, I guess what I've seen too, alongside that, is also interior designers, the architect. If we're all on the same page, it becomes such a more enjoyable experience to all kind of collaborate in that same realm and go, okay, interior, exterior, architecture, how do we all identify with that brand? How are we interpreting that? How are we, because it's going to go to the marketing and sales too, right? So like, why can't you start forming that? Like most of these developers want to already have pre-leasing opportunities. They would prefer to be 100% leased up if they could, right? Before they even open the doors. So like, how do you
Sure.
start selling that story if you don't even have that? And so we've seen on the flip side where it's what you alluded to is like, I even had a developer say, okay, because we start asking them now early, like in the beginning stages of our conversation, we go, is there branding in place? Do you have a firm? We even make referrals. Like, so referring someone like you early, if we're brought on early enough, is like, let's get them in place, like, or at least start having
Hmm.
the conversations. We had one developer go, could you just design the monument signage and then we will create the brand around that? And I thought, okay, in some
Oof.
ways that sounds
Yeah.
cool. Like we get to dictate that. But to me, I've had way more success when we can take that logo, we can take the understanding of the brand and actually try and create space,
Hmm.
objects, elements that enhance that brand, right? That are in
100%.
tune.